I worked for the Disney company for a little over 10 years. So the mouse signed my paychecks, and
Lovely.
I am living proof that you can leave the Disney company and still survive. So I did what every small boy dreams of doing, and I started a carpet cleaning business back in 2007.
Yeah.
I mean, that was my dream. I don't know about you
Yeah,
guys.
right. You're able to focus on coaching, basically, because your businesses are more or less running themselves at this point. How long did it take you to get to that point of 90 minutes a week?
Yep. No, great question. And it wasn't overnight. I will kid no one. It did not happen overnight.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to The Business Game,
a podcast that moves the needle. You know, Steve, I've been thinking, if I could clone myself, I'd finally get through my inbox.
Yeah, that's true. Or you could just call Tyler Offshore, right? They basically do that, but better.
True. They match businesses with top-tier remote talent, customer service, admin, even SaaS development.
Yep, scale your team, cut your costs, and Kalina, keep your sanity.
And their people feel like part of your own team, just without the extra desks.
Yeah, exactly, right? Head to tyleroffshore.com to get your new superstar team member onboarded in just a week. Thanks to Tyler Offshore for supporting The Business Game. Hello and welcome to The Business Game, a podcast that moves the needle. I'm Steve Plummer.
I'm Lisa DeAngelis.
Now, before we get started today, make sure you like and subscribe wherever you're listening. Today, we're joined by Vance Morris, ROI specialist and founder of Delivered ServiceNow Institute. Hi, Vance. How are you going?
Oh, fantastic. I think we're going to have a little bit of fun today.
I think so.
Absolutely. All righty, let's dive into it. Vance, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and about Deliver ServiceNow Institute?
Sure. Thanks so much. So my background really started when I was a wee lad, actually. When I was 14, I had a newspaper route.
Oh,
which
awesome.
Kids don't have those anymore, at least not here in the States. But it really taught me that delivering good service meant I got paid better.
Yeah, right.
So if Mrs. McGillicuddy wanted her paper between the screen door and the storm door, well, by golly, that's where I put it because I got a better tip.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or if they wanted it someplace special. So I really did learn this at an early age. But after I went to university and college, I worked for the Disney company for a little over 10 years. So the mouse signed my paychecks, and
Lovely.
I am living proof that you can leave the Disney company and still survive.
Yeah,
Still have joy.
Yeah, that's
Don't
right.
all
Yeah.
just wither up and die. But I had a few more corporate hospitality jobs after that. Along the way, realizing I make a lousy employee because I just don't like to be told what to do.
Right.
Which would explain my 2 ex-wives as well. So
Self-awareness. We love it.
Well, it's instructive for anybody that's, in a corporate job or in a job, and you just feel like, I'm just tired of the boss. He's never right. Or this isn't the way I would do things. Well, maybe entrepreneurship is the direction you should go.
Yeah.
So I did. I got fired a couple of times, which really kind of rung my bell and said, okay, Vance, time for you to go out and do your thing. So I did what every small boy dreams of doing, and I started a carpet cleaning business back in 2007.
Yeah.
That was my dream. I don't know about you
Yeah,
guys.
right.
Well,
It's mine too. It is mine.
But I set out that it was going to be a premium service centered on affluent people. So really going after an affluent market and taking my Disney knowledge and packing it into that business. And it worked. We were able to, there were some times when, yes, I probably took some really low paying jobs that I didn't want, but I had to make payroll or things like that. But overall, that strategy served us well. So to this day, we charge about 40% more than our closest competitor. I don't think we clean carpet better 40%. I'd like to think we do, but we probably don't. But the experience and the value that we're delivering, is definitely worth that additional money. Along the way, we were able to open a Oriental rug washing facility. And a number of years ago, we added a mold remediation company to it. And one of the big lessons I learned at Disney, and it wasn't all about, picking up trash or being nice to people, it was actually about systems. And everything at Disney runs on a process, runs on a system. And so as I was growing the business, I was also creating systems, marketing system, operations system, guest experience systems. And when I hired my general manager, all I had to tell him was just run the systems.
Right.
Don't screw with anything else. Just manage the systems. And if you have a great idea, fine. We meet once a week and we can flesh out your ideas. And so those systems gave me freedom from the business. I literally, to this day, I spend about 90 minutes a week on those three businesses.
Yeah.
Cashing checks, kissing babies, and meeting with the general manager once a week. Now, back in 2012-ish, about the same time we probably met at the Dan Kennedy event is when I started the coaching and consulting part, which is the Deliver Service Now Institute, which if you make an acronym out of that, it spells Disney.
I know.
Ask
I
me how
know.
long it took.
Yeah, I noticed on the website when we were doing research for your episode, and it's scrolling down in there and reading it and muttering it out loud and being like, "Wait a minute, that's brilliant."
Yeah.
Can I ask? Did you start with were you like, "No, I want the acronym. That's what we're going with," and then you figured out the words to go? What came first?
No, it was, I actually started, my corporate name is really bland. It's Chesapeake Service and Marketing Solutions, which is what I pay taxes on. But it took a little bit of time. I knew I couldn't use the actual Disney word. And I'm just like, okay, well, so my thing is about service, and all right, well, we do some delivery, and well, I can't really call it what's I or Y? Oh, Institute sounds like, so, it just kind of all,
amazing.
It took some time, but it finally came together.
Very clever. Yeah, we were talking about it in the office yesterday, actually being like, look at that. That's so cool.
The Disney doesn't leave your DNA.
Yes, there you go. Once it's in.
Yeah. So Vance, just on that, the Disney, your coaching business, who do you serve mostly in that market?
It's a mix between professional services, so financial or wealth advisors, attorneys, and then because I own the home service businesses, I have an affinity with the trades. So, heating and air conditioning, plumbing, et cetera. And it's really working in these highly commoditized industries. A dentist is a dentist is a dentist. There's only so many ways you can clean teeth. So what is the separator between all of the dentists? And it's really the experience that they provide. It's the same thing with carpet cleaners, same thing with financial advisors. There's only so many ways you can do your thing. So what is the separator? And it is the experience that you provide, the emotional connections that you make with your customers, which is probably the most vital of everything I teach. It's mission critical that you create these emotional connections. And then how do you keep your customers? What do you do after they've consumed your product or they've, used your service? How do you keep them in your corral? And as our friend Dan Kennedy would say, how do we put a titanium fence around them to keep them in and our competitors out?
Yeah, right.
Vance, I'm just curious that we've mentioned the emotion and exceptional service and so forth. Is that your light bulb moment that propelled everything in your business? Or was there something else that was almost your aha moment, or, I'm really onto something here? What was the spark for you?
Yeah, it was certainly early on. People were absolutely amazed that we answered the telephone.
Wow.
So
yeah, okay.
You have to remember, the bar is set very low as far as customer service is concerned. And if you look at the trades businesses, at least here in the States, you could call 6 plumbers and never talk to a human. You get voicemail every time. So people were amazed that we answered the phone. And then they were amazed that we showed up on time.
Right. Yeah.
That's
Wow.
pretty similar here.
Yeah. Same thing.
Yeah. But I mean, that's how easy it is, though, to exceed expectations is, gee whiz, just show up on time.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But the emotional connection piece really clicked probably about 5 or 6 years in. So I shamelessly use my children in my marketing. And my daughter, who's 18 now, used to do ballet. And when she was 5 years old, there was, before we did the recital, there we go. I know I get that word out. The recital, I took a picture of her in her tutu. And I took that picture, I put it in my newsletter, and I sent it out to all of my customers. And then I did that year after year after year. I had no idea if people were reading it or what they were thinking. But when she was 10 or 11 years old, this woman comes running up to us in the grocery store and says, "Oh my God, Emma, how was your recital?"
Oh, that's so sweet. That's amazing.
So we, my daughter was like, "Dad, do we need to go hide in the frozen food section? Because who is this nutty
I'm
lady?"
being stalked. Yeah.
Much scarier for a
But then
10-year-old.
I thought, and then I had to explain. I said, "Sweetheart, this is one of my customers. She has watched you grow up. My customers, my kids have thousands and thousands of aunts and uncles that have watched my kids grow up. That lady is never leaving me until she dies or moves because we've created that connection. So you don't know where the connection is going to come in, but you need to create it."
Yeah, right. And I wonder also then on that note, obviously your customer experience when you're, whether it's the service you deliver, whether it's just showing up on time or creating that emotional connection, what does that mean for marketing then for you? Does that mean that, obviously if the customer experience is the strategy, is marketing dead in your opinion? Is it, still part of it? What's your take?
Oh, no. So, the marketing is, your experiences and what you're delivering really becomes your marketing. You get to be known for doing these things. So, and then you can play into that. Certainly, I had a little bit of an advantage. I was the only Disney trained carpet cleaner in Maryland.
Yeah, awesome.
So, I had a little bit of an advantage there, but no, the marketing is vital. And I think we all subscribe to the direct response marketing style in that, we can't just throw up a picture of a little baby and expect people to call us to come fix their plumbing.
Right.
There has to be a headline, there has to be an offer, there has to be all of those things. And to this day, I still follow that. And with, now with Google reviews and Facebook reviews, people can really find us and, they're just amazed at what people are saying about "Oh my God, the guy put booties on his shoes before he walked into the house."
Yeah.
Just little things like that.
Yeah.
That all becomes your marketing.
And I think that's also because that is somewhere that Disney really excels. That's an incredible trading ground for you, certainly. And I think for everyone probably who goes through the Disney corporation. I remember being, you go to any of the parks and they go above and beyond. I've had a few friends who have worked there at different points. Who say, we just are really aware that this experience is a once in a lifetime or once, in 5 or 10 years for people that are coming through. So make their dreams happen. And I think it's so cool that you are taking that and also running with it in the way that you can achieve the same thing for services that people need in their everyday lives rather than that one in 10 years or 1 in 5 years or once in a lifetime trip, It's awesome.
Right. Yeah. And it makes a lot of sense, to do this. Disney, of course, they are the gold standard, in what they do in entertainment and creating memories. And when you bring it down to, our Main Street level for Main Street businesses, what Disney understands is what they are selling. Disney, yes, they have movies, they have attractions, they have theme parks, they got characters and all that. But Disney understands that they are selling memories and that's their product. They're selling happiness and they're selling memories. So they really understand what the thing is that they're selling. Everything else is just supports that. And so for Main Street businesses, for like my home service businesses, we create healthy homes. Now we do it by cleaning, but our mission is bigger than our day-to-day job. And my employees, they can wrap their heads around creating healthy homes. They know what that means. There's so many companies out there that have, mission statements, which most employees don't know what it is.
Mhm.
Most owners can't remember what it is they wrote down 5 years ago.
Yeah,
And,
right.
I mean, I'll go into businesses and ask, so what's your mission around here? And there's Marge at the front desk going, poking her head around me, trying to read the mission statement that's on the board behind me.
Yeah.
It's so,
Thinking about going back to the Disney of it all for a second, working there for as long as you did, what have you found that you learnt at Disney working there that absolutely does not work in the real world? Is there anything that, because they're such a big business,
really no.
Mhm.
Of course, I don't own a roller coaster.
Right.
I don't own a castle. And so people ask me all the time, well, why should we try and copy what Disney does? We don't own any of that stuff. We're not in entertainment and things like that. And my reply is always, it's not copying what they do. It's adapting what they're doing into our own businesses. So, taking the blinders off of, well, I don't have a roller coaster, so that doesn't apply to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, okay, let's look at, so a great example I use a lot is at Disney, you wait for things.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You wait in line to go on the attraction. You wait in line for food. You wait in line to get on transportation. Disney, though, has figured out a way to not so much compress time, but make it feel like it's not so long. So they entertain you while you're in line, and there's interactive stuff, or maybe there's something on your phone. You've got an app to play with, or there's characters walking around. It takes your mind off of how long you're standing there.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that and adapt that into the real world. Think about if you have to send a proposal and then there's a period of time where you have to wait for the client to do something. So what are you doing to entertain your client or your prospect between the time you send the proposal and the time they get it and make a decision?
Right.
There's all sorts of things. You could be sending them cookies through the mail. You can be sending them a copy of your book. You can, reach out through the phone. I'm a big fan of getting away from email because some of it's, well, one, I don't know about you guys, but I'm looking at my inbox and it's already got 72 messages and I'm not going to look at them till tomorrow.
Yeah.
But, so the stuff gets buried. But if somebody sent me a little box and it had a copy of their book and a brownie in it, that's brilliant. So entertaining while, people are waiting.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of less, attention to detail.
Mm-hmm.
Disney is fanatical about their attention to detail. I was there one day and I was sitting having coffee, and one of the horticulture people was coming along and trimming the hedges. And, after they used the big shears, they came and literally had a pair of scissors trimming.
Mm-hmm.
And then not 10 minutes later, the supervisor walks by with her own pair of scissors and it's going by. And so, they have that fanatical attention to detail.
Yeah.
We all can have that. There are details in our business that matter, more so than maybe some others. And so, again, something like that, we can certainly adapt from Disney.
Yeah, fascinating.
It's an interesting take, isn't it, on, well, you don't understand, my business is different, which we all know. It's about the principle, what they do. How can you, like you said, adapt the principle to your particular business? Because at the end of the day, business is providing a solution at a profit to a person. It doesn't matter what the thing is, right? Who the person is or what the thing is, it's still that principle.
Yeah.
So it's a really interesting point about just, relaxing thinking a bit around that to what can I do? I love that thing about while you're waiting for a proposal to land, what else can you do?
Yeah.
Because that's a form of marketing as well, entertainment, et cetera, et cetera. It keeps you top of consciousness and so forth. Yeah.
Testing. 1, 2. Hello.
Are we on?
Are we on? Hello.
Oh, hey folks, let's take a quick pause to talk about our friends at HubSpot. If you've ever felt like running marketing, sales and customer service all at once is, a little chaotic, HubSpot is here to change that.
It's an all-in-one CRM platform that actually works the way you think. From generating leads to automating follow-ups to helping your team stay aligned. Personally, I love how the automation tools handle the busy work so you can focus on the bigger strategy.
And here's the best part. You can start your HubSpot journey for free using the link in the description. And while you're at it, you're helping to support this podcast.
HubSpot isn't just a tool. It's like having a full team in one platform, helping you grow your business faster and smarter.
Alrighty, it's back to today's episode. Vance, you mentioned before about price elasticity, and I know that you've said before that price resistance is self-inflicted. So I'd love to dive into that a little bit. And does that really mean that if you're discounting, you're kind of admitting to a failure? What's your take on that?
Discounts are, I don't discount. I don't compete on price. I compete on the value that I deliver. And so, I do think if you have to run a discount in order to generate your business, you might as well just have a lower price. I mean,
Right.
So what? Now that is not to say that promotions and specials don't have their place in your marketing calendar or your overall marketing plan. Certainly, here in the States, we have Thanksgiving coming up, which means we have Black Friday, which is the day everybody goes shopping. And so everybody's having some kind of promotion at that time. And if you follow the Robert Collier principle of always entering the conversation that's happening in their mind, you probably do want to at least be a part of some of these larger, holidays or promotions. But it doesn't mean you have to discount. It may be, for us, we'll say, hey, look, if we'll clean 3 rooms of carpet for you, be more than happy to clean that chair for 50% off.
Right.
So, we're already there. So I am giving a discount, but I'm already getting full price for all of the carpet cleaning. Cleaning a chair doesn't really add much to, our work, but it does add to the ticket, and it adds to the value that we're delivering to that customer. There was a study around, and I don't like to throw numbers out there, but there is a study, and it says that 8% of the population will willingly pay 31 or more percent more for the same service if they get a better experience.
Wow.
31%.
Yeah.
So there's almost 10% of the population that is willing to spend a lot of more money just to get a good experience.
Yeah, right.
And as the business owner then, do I not do that because of my own lack of belief in what I do or my own confidence in the marketplace? Is that how that plays out?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's if I raise my prices, I'm going to lose customers. If I raise my prices, I'm not going to be able to get new customers. And it is just not the truth. If you raise your prices and you lose customers, well, maybe you didn't have the right customers to begin with.
Right.
But if you go out and do the math, you could double your price, lose half of your customers, and still be more profitable.
Yeah, right.
So if you do them, I'm not going to do the math for you, but if you do that, you're half as busy and you're probably more profitable because you got less wear and tear on your building, less wear and tear on your employees. So there's those costs that factor in. I would much rather serve 5 people and deliver a great experience and be profitable than have 50 and just be good,
Yes,
going
right.
nuts.
Do you know what? Can we talk for a second about the customer experience? You've talked about moment 0, which is those first 7 seconds with a client.
Yeah.
What is your most powerful tip, to win those first 7 seconds?
Certainly you have to create that emotional connection within those first 7 seconds. If you do that, the likelihood that customer is going to start shopping around is almost eliminated. It just goes down. So so is it so if you have a bricks and mortar store and, you walk in and, what is the first thing that you either see, smell, or hear?
Mm-hmm.
So if you walk into, I fully ask most of my clients, especially if they have an office, bake some cookies.
Right.
Your sense of smell is the number one sense when it comes to memories.
Mm-hmm.
So and if I smell kielbasa cooking, I immediately think of my grandmother because she was always cooking kielbasa.
Yeah.
So that having that scent or that sense, can set the tone. Oh, it hits you immediately. You're like, oh, wow, this reminds me of mom's house.
Mm-hmm.
Or, is the music at an appropriate level? Or is the greeting at an appropriate way? Answering the telephone is vital in setting the tone for that moment zero.
Mm-hmm.
One, do you answer it? Two, do you answer it quickly? So is it 17 rings or is it 2 rings?
Mm-hmm.
What is the person who's answering the phone? What's their attitude? What's their demeanor? Are they offering, thank you for calling Dave's Insurance. How can I help
Yeah,
you?
right. Yeah.
Which we've all heard.
Yeah.
Or, I have one of my clients is a insurance agent and he loves rock and roll. So he's got, autographed guitars and gold records on his walls. And his team answers the phone. Thank you for calling Dave's Allstate, the agency that rocks.
Oh, that's awesome.
Now,
yeah.
So you got them right there. And remember, your marketing's designed to do 2 things. It's supposed to attract the people you want and repel the people that would not make a good customer. And just by answering the phone that way, they're sifting, sorting, and screening out anybody who would make a bad customer for them.
Fabulous. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep. You've been known to say that systemizing is freedom. Now, I've got a little question around that. Are systems a friend or an enemy of creativity in business? And I think in particular, I guess from a marketing perspective, because you do have to have a certain level of creativity, yet if you've got a rigid system to follow, that's just one example. And are there other examples, enemy or friend of creativity systems?
They go hand in hand. So what I mean by that, so when we were opening up the yacht, I was on the opening team of the Yacht and Beach Club Resort at Disney. And this was before we all had phones. There were no laptops or anything. So everything was in a binder, big 3-inch thick, lots of paper. And I asked my boss, I said, when we walked into the training room, there's just stacks of binders everywhere. I said, what is all this? He goes, well, these are all the SOPs and OJTs for how to open and operate a Disney resort. And I'm thinking to myself, geez, that's a lot, but they had a binder for the bellman, a binder for the busboy, everybody had their binders. And I said, how do you get anything done if you're always worrying about all this stuff? And he goes, well, once you learn your job, and Disney's training is, days, if not weeks long, once you have your job down, it becomes just pure muscle memory. You do it by rote. So, if I have to think about carrying a tray in the restaurant, well, that's all I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about doing something nice for a guest. So if you know your system inside and out, and it's just second nature to you, now you have brain capacity to do all of the nice things that Disney is known for, because you're not thinking about the job that you're doing. So now I can take the picture for the guests. I can do the autographs. I can, get a new ice cream cone for the kid that dropped one, because we have the systems and I just do them, and it allows me the freedom to be able to go and do all of the nice things that we're known for. And it's the same thing for businesses. As I mentioned earlier, I would not be doing what I'm doing today if I didn't have systems in those home service businesses that a manager could go and run. Those systems gave me freedom from having to be in that business every single day. And, as far as the creativity, marketing, you have a system, but then you add to the system or you subtract from the system. And, you might have a marketing asset that, slowly is, not giving the return that it used to give. Okay, great. what do we do to fix that? And then that's where the creativity comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, just on that, you mentioned your newsletter. Is that an online or an offline newsletter?
Mm.
Oh, 100% print.
Yeah.
100% print sent through the mail.
Oh, you dinosaur. But gee, let me guess,
that's awesome.
that works really, really well,
Yeah.
right?
You know, as we said earlier, I mean, email boxes are clogged.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know about deliverability. You don't know if it's going to a spam filter or going to some promotions folder. You have no idea, you know, if they got the thing or then if they even read it. At least when it's in the mailbox, at least here in the States, our postal service, we've got a 99% deliverability rate. So pretty darn good.
Mm-hmm.
But they get the thing. There's not a lot of competition in the mailbox. You know, we get some credit card offers and, you know, maybe a coupon for something, but not much.
Mm-hmm.
So, and none of my competitors are there because my competitors, where are they? They're online.
Yeah.
When I'm in the mailbox, I'm all by my lonesome. And then they get the newsletter and they look at it. And it's the whole Gary Halbert, you know, how do people sort their mail? You know, usually over top of the trash can. And there's the A pile and the B pile.
Mm-hmm.
And my newsletter, they have to look at it. They have to make a decision as to whether they're going to keep it and read it or throw it away.
Mm-hmm.
So at least it's in their hands. If the newsletter is done well, it will get opened. And ours is, you have to remember, people like to be entertained.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like to be taught. So like my newsletter is like Reader's Digest light. I mean, one of the biggest parts I have in it is stupid criminal stories. People love, you know, the idiot that robbed the bank wearing a pumpkin on his head, you know, or, you know, the guy who, you know, gave his cell phone number to the person he was robbing. I mean, just, you know, people love that stuff, you know, so it's not talking about my cleaning or anything like that. It's just talking about, you know, stuff that's entertaining, stuff that creates the emotion or continues the emotional connections.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. If you were running a B2B business, and, you know, like a SaaS, for example, would you still use a printed newsletter?
Hmm.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Okay.
Because nobody else is.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's really interesting.
All right, you've seen both sides, Vance, the corporate structure, the small business, the chaos of that. Who do you think's having more fun, the corporate or the small business?
Wow. You know, I've met a lot of uptight small business owners. If they're anything like me, they're having a ball. Yeah. If they're anything like us, they are having fun.
Yeah.
I you know, and the thing is you can't get fired from that job, you know. I think I know I'm having more fun than I did in 25 years of corporate life.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm.
What's one customer experience that people could start doing right now that nobody is doing that everybody should be? I mean, I guess on one hand, maybe the hard copy newsletter is actually a really good answer to that. But what's, you know, one thing that our listeners and our viewers could take away right now and start implementing in their business?
Sure. Well, I think, you know, what we can go back to pricing a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the tools that we use is what I call an apples to oranges comparison chart. So for our cleaning businesses, we have 10 questions to ask any cleaner before you allow them into your home.
Mm-hmm.
And we have all of our answers, which are positive answers to those questions. And then I have a column for competitor A, column for competitor B. And I say, you know, look, you want to price shop us? That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Go find somebody else who does all 10 of these things. And if you can find another competitor that does all of these 10 things,
Mm-hmm.
I will pay them to clean your carpet.
Amazing.
How many times has someone
So,
collected?
I mean, you can have some fun with it,
Yeah.
but,
yeah.
you know, it's just creating that difference between you. I mean, there's so many things that we all do the same, but nobody ever talks about it. It's like, if you remember from like the 60s and 70s, in the US, it was Schlitz beer. And, you know, beer is all made the same. You got water, you got barley, you got oats, and you got some yeast. The marketing guy was walking around with the Schlitz guy, and he said, you know, what do you do here? He says, oh, well, you know, we use filtered water, and then we do this with the barley and this with the oats. And the marketing guy was like, you filter the water? And the guy was like, yeah, but just about everybody else does. I said, well, Nobody else is talking about it. So that became their marketing campaign. We use filtered water.
Right.
Well,
and everyone goes, wow,
they were
filtered
just
water.
the first
and
ones
they
to
don't
say it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah, we're almost out of time, Vance, but I'm just curious. You have had some ups and downs in business, and you almost seem to have bounced back a bit stronger. What did hitting rock bottom? What did that teach you about life, about business that success never could?
It's resilience. It's tenacity. I mean, I could have thrown in the towel. I mean, when I started the first business, I'd been fired from my first job, so no income. So I had to start making some money. And, we were looking at living off of my wife's salary, while I got the business up and running. And she had a cerebral aneurysm, like same week I signed the contracts to start this business. So she was in the hospital for, at least 11 days, I think. I mean, she's fine now
Glad to hear that.
and recovered, but overnight our incomes went to like double zero.
Right.
And so I was like, I got to make this work somehow. Because I could go back and get a job, but then I'd be miserable and I'd probably end up losing that one anyway. So, you put your nose to the grindstone, tenacity, just sure stick-to-itiveness, if you got a good thing going, you barrel through.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool.
If your business was like a Disney ride, what would it be called? And what would happen on that Disney ride?
My business or my life?
I reckon go your actual life.
Go the life.
I'm curious about that.
Absolutely.
You seem like you've had an interesting run.
Life would be called controlled chaos.
Yeah, okay.
4 kids, a lot going on in the house, a number of businesses running. But it would really be, if you ever went to Epcot, and there's a ride called Journey to Imagination. And I really think that is one of the big things I enjoy about the business that I'm doing, is that we can imagine different things for different businesses that they can implement that they haven't thought of before. And I get it. Not everybody, can think of serving coffee in their waiting room or doing some fun stuff. I get that. But I think that just having that imagination is really served me well. And yeah, I think I would be Figment.
Love that. Oh, that's awesome. I think that's really interesting as well, that it's so cool that you said that for your businesses, you're able to focus on coaching basically, because your businesses are more or less running themselves at this point. And I guess before we wrap up, this is something I've been thinking about the whole way through, but how long did it take you to get to that point of 90 minutes a week is all you need to spend? How long did it take you to figure out those systems?
Yep. No, great question. And it wasn't overnight. I will kid no one. It did not happen overnight. We were probably about 7 to 8 years in before, and it wasn't so much just the systems, but it was, having the revenue to be able to cover, an additional, salaried person, and also for me to be able to make money and not have to be in the thing.
Yes, right.
It was about 7, 8 years. I mean, because we had grown the systems, and of course, the business was growing, and it was right about that time when I was able to step back.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. All right. To help to get to know the person behind the mic, Vance, we do like to play a little game at the end of our podcasts each episode here.
Oh boy.
And it's called the rapid fire questions. And so I'd encourage you to answer in 1 or 2 words, or maybe a sentence or less as we go through. There are 10 questions.
As fast as you can.
Yeah, you're ready to go?
Let's go.
All right, here we go.
Right.
The one thing you couldn't live without.
Beer.
What was your first job?
Newspaper route.
Yeah, we need that one.
Is the customer really always right?
The customer is always the customer.
Ooh, good answer. What's your coffee order?
Black.
Okay.
Simple. You're not going to catch me standing in line waiting for a 19 ingredient order.
Right. Early riser or night owl?
Very early, 4:30 a.m. every day.
Oh, my goodness. iPhone or Android?
Android.
Me too.
you've got to hire one fictional character to run your business. Who's getting the job?
Oh, wow. Superman.
Oh, good answer. What was the last book you read?
I am on my rereading of Letters to a Stoic.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
All right. If your business life had a theme song, what would it be?
It's is it the Beatles? It's going to be all right.
Oh, Let It Be.
I can't remember who the artist is, but there's something along the lines of "It's going to be all right."
Last one. If you could own any existing company in the world, what would you choose? Whose company are you taking over?
Aside from mine, I am taking over Six Flags, which is an amusement park company here in the U.S.
Yeah.
Primarily, we had, just real quick, Travis Kelce, who is engaged to, what's her face?
Taylor Swift.
Thank you,
I don't know
Taylor
if we
Swift.
can
I
recover from
him.
the
I
what's your
can't
face.
remember her.
We'll have to cut that out.
But he is now... He's now a 9% owner of Six Flags,
Right.
And has this nostalgic feeling about amusement parks. So I'm actually working on a campaign right now to get in front of not only Travis Kelce, but the private equity firm that they're with as well. So fingers crossed.
Oh,
All right,
awesome.
Well, and Travis, when you listen to this, make sure that you keep an eye out for Vance's stuff.
Morris.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. There we go.
All righty. Look, we're just about out of time. So tell us, where can people find you and learn more about Deliver Service Now?
Sure. Actually, I have a free download for everyone. It's 52 ways to wow your customer without breaking the bank. So it's one wow for every week of the year.
Amazing.
So if you're not creative, this will cover it. And you can find that at wow52ways.com.
Amazing. We'll pop that in the show notes as well. So if you're listening, make sure you check it out. This has been really fascinating, Vance. Thank you so much. I feel like I've really taken away so much about those little moments that you can find to make an experience incredible. I think when you're really in the weeds of a business, it can be so hard to, be constantly thinking about where we're trying to go, what we're trying to achieve, what can we fix, what can we make better. And really, fundamentally, that's what it actually boils down to, isn't it? Making sure that you are delivering an incredible experience before everything else.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that Vance's point about, there's no competitive advantage in being the second cheapest, right?
Cheapest,
I think that lands really, really well.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to play that in my head on a loop.
Oh, boy.
So, Vance Morris from Deliver Service Now Institute, thank you so much for joining us. That's all we've got time for. Wherever you're listening from, thanks for joining us here on The Business Game. We'll see you next time.
All right, that's a wrap for today's episode. If you enjoyed what you heard, make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes.
For more insights, strategies, and stories to help move the needle on your business, we'll meet you back here on Thursday.
Thanks for tuning in to The Business Game.
If you like what you heard, make sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn to stay connected.
A big thank you to our major sponsor, Tyler Offshore, for powering today's episode.
And join us again on the next episode of The Business Game,
A podcast that moves the needle.